Okay, so this is episode 1 of the Mindset Mondays talk. Not sure how this is going to go. A little bit of a project for myself and the guys at Expand. So today I'm joined by Wes, aka GoldHammer, which is one of our very important SLT members who makes a lot of decisions over with us within the community. Now, on first glance, obviously, you know us just from a community perspective, from facing, but what we're going to do today, we're going to go into the depths of what we do, what we've been through together, what Wes has also been through, what he's experienced, and it may be good to sort of see how he's overcome certain things that he's been through, and maybe you can use them for yourself, and just get some confidence out of it, see that it is doable to whatever it is that you're going through, you can get through it, and this is exactly what we're going to talk about today, more or less. So, Wes, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Well, you did a lot of it for me, to be fair. My name's Wes. I'm SLT, Senior Admin for Expand. I live in Worcestershire.
It's like an episode of Take Me Out, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, yeah. That's it. Yeah, GoldHammer people know me as.
Yeah.
Big man.
Jamal.
Yeah.
Jamal. Yeah. So obviously Wes has been with us now for 5 months.
Wow.
I'm trying to think, when did he join? September, so, well, 4 and a
It's
bit
been
months.
about 5 or 6 months, yeah.
Obviously it's been quite some time. Oh yeah, and also if you are drinking, we are drinking some alcoholic beverages. We are not sponsored, as much as I wish I was. That's not the case, but it's basically just going to be a bit of a chat, completely unedited. Maybe put a little bit of music over the back. I don't know. I'm really winging it, to be honest, and it's more just another opportunity to help as many people as we can. So obviously not many people know us. We're not really on many people's radar at the moment, but we're getting there. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And day by day, we're helping more and more. So, Wes, do you want to just tell me, where were you brought up, where your roots are, should we say?
My roots are Kidderminster in the West Midlands. It's not the most attractive place in the world to live. Brought up in a council house with my parents, my mum and my stepdad. My parents split up, I think when I was about 6 months old or something like that. Got 3 sisters, 2 now, because one's obviously, that's another story. So I brought up in Kidderminster. I was born in Worcester, brought up at Kidderminster, and then my parents moved to a bungalow in the middle of nowhere in Tenbury, Wales. We lived there for a few years, and then we moved to a place called Upper Arley, which is in Shropshire Way, but still classed as West Midlands. Okay. Little village by the River Severn next to the Severn Valley Railway. It's quite a popular place, and I've lived there ever since. And then I moved out when I was about 19.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Most people, if you're at home, stay at home as long as you can and save.
See, my parents say the complete alternate. They would tell me to get out.
What I know now, if I'd have known that back then, I think I'd have wouldn't have been so eager to fly the nest as such.
It's funny you should say that exact saying my dad told me when I was about 13, 14.
Yeah, it's a wheel. It is a wheel, mate, because it's going to happen with my kids. I'm married, by the way. 2 children, 2 boys, 11 and 7. So I moved out at 19 with my partner that I'm with now. Yeah. We moved out together. No, I moved out first, for a year. Obviously, you know the background of that year thing, don't you, Sam?
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into detail on it, but yeah. So I moved out, lived in a shared house with some friends, rekindled a relationship, and moved in together. Had our first child about 2 years after moving in together. I think it might have even been a year. Can't remember actually. Yeah, it might have been a year. Yeah, it was a year actually. Yeah. Then got married, had another child, and I now have left the Shropshire area and come to Bromsgrove because of my work. I work as a waste management transfer company, and leads me to where I am sat right now.
Good stuff. How old are your kids then? 7 and 11?
7 and 11, yeah. So I've got Jacob, who's 7, who's the youngest, and Ashton, who's 11. They're both gamers, Fortnite freaks.
Love that.
Minecraft freaks. So yeah.
Good stuff.
Ashton had his first, I think, his Xbox when he was an Xbox 360 when he was 3.
Wow.
Yeah, he used to sit and watch me play GTA.
That's ironic, isn't it? No, yeah, I think everyone has that sort of, if you're a hardcore gamer type thing, it's sort of brought up in the family, isn't it? It's in the blood. It's in the nature.
I never had those. Yeah, I never had those things, to be fair.
No.
It weren't until my sister got with a computer engineer that I started taking an interest in computers, and I used to take the mick out of him because he would spend hours and hours on the computer.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh man, what are you doing, man? You're spending all this time on the computer, go out and do stuff. And he's like, nah, can't, got to do it. And then that year, he built me my first gaming computer. And I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It does. I was the exact same. I used to be a console gamer. I mean, a very big console gamer. I never thought much about the PC master race, as they say. Until I tried it, give it a go. And the community, it was a lot sort of, there's so many people that you could sort of meet, communicate with, and so many decent people for that matter. And obviously, there was certain people that you do meet on the internet which aren't good at all, and that's what Expand's about. It's sort of filtering out the bad, bringing the good and putting them together.
Yeah, definitely.
With all the mutual interests that they do have. So that leads me, how did you actually find Expand?
It's a funny story. Obviously, I've always been a PC gamer, and I've always played games like World of Warcraft and those type of games. And my next door neighbour, who lives by me, was like, "Oh, you ought to join this 5M community." And this was during lockdown, the first lockdown. Yeah. And I was toying with it for a bit, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not really into the role-playing type of thing. I've done it in World of Warcraft, but it's a completely different concept because you're not voicing it; you're just chatting role-play, unless you're in a, So I was like, oh no, I don't think I'm going to be game for it, I don't know. There's a couple of weeks went by and he kept talking about the situations that he was doing. He said, watch my stream and see what you think.
Yeah.
And I watched his stream and I was in hysterics all the way through it and I loved it. And that night I installed it, joined the Discord, and I don't think I've had one day off since.
It is addictive. Because
it's addictive, role play. I just, at the minute I'm playing a Jamaican pimp who owns Vanilla Unicorn, which is pretty decent. I've been through most roles, I think, in the city now. Ambulance, NHS, police, criminal. I'm the crap at a criminal, like proper hardcore criminal. I've not got a malicious bone in my body, so I can't tell someone to stick their effing hands up and do this and do that. I'm not that. Nah.
A lot of people have that sort of stigma and thoughts about roleplay, don't they? Think, roleplay.
It sounds, with the greatest respect, it sounds pretty sad.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? And then once you get into it and you get that first recognition as well for your roleplay, that's just gives you that level of boost and boost and boost and boost and boost, and before you know it, you're blowing the walls off, the roof off.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of people actually question why we went to roleplay first. Obviously, a lot of the sort of creators of the community, obviously I was one of them. There's another 2 young lads that were doing it with me. They decided to part off. There was a lot of sort of hard times that we went through getting it up to where we are now. And I'm the lone wolf. I was the one out of the 3 of them that sort of stuck by and made it, get to where it is, drag it up by its horns type thing. So I think when I initially said let's do roleplay, a lot of people questioned it. And the complete polar opposite side of that was the fact of, with lockdown being in play, no one could really do anything. No one could really go outside, see their friends or wherever it may be. So our aim was to create a bit of a virtual world for them. And they could do whatever job they want, at least out of the ordinary, we'll make it for them, we'll make it happen in a little virtual world for them. And that's how we're based off. It's the fact of you come to us with a mental or physical defect, whatever it may be, not judged in the slightest, if anything supported by telling us, and we put them in a situation where they can learn life skills in a virtual way. Now obviously school and everything shut through COVID has sort of had an impact on a lot of us. Me, Wes, I'm sure you too. Everyone sort of had a very tough time throughout it. But the most amazing part of it all is one positive is the fact that Expand has been built, and a lot of people have sort of conjoined with us and joined us and sort of recognise what we're doing is a really good thing. And it's just a case now of getting that word out there that we actually exist. And obviously RP, when you first mention it, people go, it's a bit childish, that, isn't it? I've said it to my parents, and they've took the piss out of me, excuse my language, about you know, pretending to be a police officer. And I'm like, well, my aspiration is to help people, so that's what I know. That's where I want to be in life. So let's think about what I can't do, but I can do in a video game. I can be a police officer, and that's how we look at it. I always remember a young Downstream lad who played on our roleplay server, and he's left now. He started playing Rocket League when that became a free game, and he started with us when he was a police officer. I remember him joining it. I spoke to him for the first time, and he, you know, proper chatty, blah blah, and every day I used to speak to him, and you could hear the smile on his face through his voice. And that was the sort of key point that I was like, we need to push this more. And at the time, we didn't have many people that were actually involved in it. No. So it is just a case of people giving roleplay the opportunity to say, let's give it a go.
Just give it a try. Yeah, give it a try, because you will not. You will not be. Yeah, you won't regret it. Even if you think it's something you would never consider, which it wasn't for me, because World of Warcraft roleplay is completely different. It's not your character's set with whoever you are, because that's the person you pick when you join World of Warcraft. So you know, if you're a Death Knight, you have to roleplay as a Death Knight. You can't be a Death Knight pimp or anything like that. You've got to be a Death Knight. Whereas Expand, you can the possibilities are endless. And that's all it is. It's just having an imagination and thinking, you know, if you want to be a comedian in real life, you could probably transition that into Expand and start working on it.
Yeah.
And on your thing, and that doesn't mean you can come in and start using racist jokes and stuff like that. We don't know about now. No. But no, you know, just anything, just
it's a distraction, and that's what we're trying to
it is, absolutely, it is. And it's a huge distraction, because it can take away, you know, I can come in the city, I very rarely have any days where I feel demotivated to do anything. But if you're having a bad day and you're really stressed, or you just stuff's getting on top of you, just join the city, come in and just roll with it. Forget what's happened that day, and just go into the city as it's a new day. You start from scratch, or whatever your day, whatever you want it to be. And by an hour into it, you forgot everything that's happened during this day.
Definitely. And
you go to bed in a very happier mood than what you would have done if you hadn't have slipped into the city. But that's having that fine balance of maturity and understanding the value of overcoming something during the day, and finding something to overcome that stress or that bad day, or you've had some bad news, or you've had a bit of money problems, or anything like that. It's a distraction, and it is I don't care what anyone says, it is a distraction. And if it's not a distraction for you, then I don't know what could be a distraction, because it might not be for some people, granted, but for me, it's helped tremendously in my distractions of real world stuff happening. And don't get me wrong, my issues aren't that bad, you know, because there is some really, really vulnerable people out there that have got some major problems, and they're not problems, they're just obstacles that you need to overcome. So I always think about that in the back of my head. There's always someone worse off than me. Always. And there is.
Yeah.
You might think that your problems are the worst problems in the world and you're having the worst day. No one's problems are as worse as mine. But trust me, there is always someone that is having a problem. And I started my whole therapy of dealing with my issues. I used to watch a YouTuber called Roman Atwood. A very positive guy, very motivational. Someone that you would just sit and watch and just think, oh, I feel a little bit better now. I've watched him. And I've wrote to him on numerous occasions and I've had replies back of, I'm glad that I think they're just generic ones, but it just that the feedback back off getting something back is quite valuable, whether it's an automated email or not.
Yeah.
But you get that back and expand because you see us in VC, so we're actually there to help, and that's what I had when I first joined the city, was just having groups of people be kind and considerate, and you meet so many new people. It's great. We've met some lovely people and we've lost some lovely people, not in bad ways. I mean, like they've left the city and gone to other cities and stuff like that. So yeah, I could babble all day about Expand. I really could. Just the amount of positive people that are immersed in the community. I can sit and I could probably name most people in the city just because of the impact they've had on my life. And it's overwhelming, and it's the power of communities. It's that combining two personalities that you wouldn't normally associate yourself with in real world, because you wouldn't perhaps have that contact. Yeah, you wouldn't. But in city, and then you have that role play with them, then you get into a VC with them and start chatting with them, and you're like, well, you're a funny guy, you are, or you're a funny girl, or whatever it may be. And that helps dramatically in people's, I join a VC very happy-go-lucky, even if I have had a really bad day, because I know regardless of what's happening in that VC, I know it instantly, as soon as I join, it's going to be all great. There's not going to be no. So.
And even when there's not, I think today we had one. Obviously, Wes, you went for your usual Saturday dad nap. It's an ongoing joke within the community. There was a young lad today who joined that he said that unfortunately a member of his family had passed. Now, instantly, there was a sort of a taken back moment where everyone sort of didn't say nothing, but the reaction that he got was just, it took me back a big time, because I was like, this is the reason why it started. Everyone was so loving, everyone messaged them, everyone was like, listen, if you need to chat, I'm here, I'm here to support you. I know it seems hard now, but they'd also want you to be happy, so let's have a good night and let's get on with it, let's do something. But it's an unreal feeling to see what the alternate side of people who are caring actually, are like. Obviously, I've been there myself, whereas I'm sure you've seen many people that are complete polar opposite to caring and loving. But to have a community of, touch wood, hopefully 800 at the end of this weekend, 800 people that are just there for each other. Now, 800 doesn't sound many, but it's a lot of people if you put them in a room.
If you were to class that as a company, it wouldn't be a company, it'd be a corporation, because it's more than 600 members of staff as such. So I consider everyone very valued, regardless of their antics that they do cause in the city sometimes or in chats. They are valued because ultimately they, you can join a VC and instantly they you join it and they're like, oh, hello, Wes, and it's just like, yeah. So that's just a great start. And if they're having a really bad day, you can sit and talk to them. And it is, because some people that can be very opinionated, should I say, can be very easily swayed to understand why people are their thought process into certain things, and they sort of then become, instead of being really opinionated, they sort of listen and go, actually, right, yeah, he is or she is making sense. And that's what we're about. As far as I'm concerned, we are a community, but every single one of us has a role to play within the community. It's not just us as staff or SLT or anything like that. There could be anyone in those VCs that's just in there one day. Someone joins the Discord and like, oh, what's all this all about? They have a chat. That person that's just joined the VC with you might not even know that you're having a bad day, or he's having a bad day, or she's having a bad day. But just having that interaction between two members of the community, you've both done something to each other that could have helped. So we are a community, and every member is valued on their personality, who they are as a person.
It's good. It is good. Obviously, there's a lot of people that come to us with, their sort of obstacles in life. Obviously, I must advise we're the furthest thing from professionals, but we're a bunch of people that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and we're going to help you get through onto the other side. Now, I'm not saying that I've been through every single sort of mental illness there may be, or physical defects there may be. I'm really not. But I'm here to sort of give you a bit of a boost and an uplift to say that at the end of the day, you've had excuse my language again, a shit day at work or a shit day at school. We're going to be there when you clock off at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6, midnight, you name it. There's always going to be someone to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was the family atmosphere. So obviously, Wes, did you sort of join Expand with sort of anything that was bothering you that maybe took certain aspects?
I've been, to be fair, I've been suffering for about 13 years with mental health. Mine's a very up and down spiral, where I can go 2 or 3 years without having any issues, just be quite normal, work, come home, work, come home, the general day-to-day stuff. And then there is moments in life where I do get these really, I missed my sister's wedding once because of a panic attack that I was having. And I might look like a bearded man that's quite strong and what have you, but regardless, my mental health has been in some bad states. I've been mentally drained. Over the past 2 years, probably a little bit longer, has been a little bit of a downward spiral for me. Not financially, we're financially secure. Most people always say, what's making you depressed? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because most people have got a trigger for it. So it might be stress at work. I've thought it was work at one point. Stress at work, money problems, relationship problems, anything, but I could never put my finger on mine. And I have come to a conclusion from when I was a teenager. I did made some stupid choices, and that I think has made a long-lasting effect on what goes on up here. So when I joined Expand, I was going through a pretty rough point in my life, very subdued in myself. I wouldn't go outside. I still struggle with those to the day, but it's getting better and better, and it has got better. I could sit in a VC for an hour with people and feel like I could run a marathon, or walk outside and run around Bromsgrove with just a mankini on. Do you know what I mean? It's that.
Yeah.
It's that. And it is truly, if you're all watching this now, is God's honest truth. That is exactly what it makes me feel like doing. I got no problem. I can finish a VC and I struggle going to sleep, but not because I can't sleep, but because I'm just thinking about how much of a good time I've had talking to them and talking to him and talking to her. So obviously when I joined Expand, I was going through quite a bad patch in my life. And this place definitely set me on the right path of dealing with it, going down the correct roads and all the avenues. And I've been to therapy many a time.
Do you feel like that helped at all?
No, it didn't. This did.
That's good.
And that is the truth. I'm not sugarcoating it or making it sound. It literally has been the only thing that has made me go outside. I brought a car, and I've drove it a handful of times. And like the first couple of, I think it was the first month or two of me being in Expand, I actually drove to someone's house. There was no lockdown at the time. And me and my neighbour drove to his house to meet him. And I would never have done that at all. But it was the excitement of meeting an Expand member that weren't far away from me, just wanting to meet him, because I've spoke to him in VCs, and I'm like, where do you live? Oh, so-and-so. Oh, God, that ain't far away from me.
Yeah. And
the next thing you know, we're meeting up. And that, from that moment to now, it's just going up and up and up and up and up and up.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, it is.
And I say this, yeah. It is.
Yeah, it is. I've sat in VCs with people till 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about problems, issues. We have debates. And you might think that I'm helping you, but ultimately you're not. I'm not. You're helping me as well. It's that effect, You're helping me because I'm having this interaction with you, and I've got this sense of feeling like I'm actually helping, which helps me. And then obviously I might be helping someone else. I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever you want to call them, physiotherapist, a therapist. But I've got life experience, which all of us have, regardless of your age. The only thing I have noticed since joining Expand is the amount of people that are young, that suffer, that don't get noticed. Now I started mine started at a very about 13 years ago. So what 13? I was in my 20s then, and I never had it. See, my 11-year-old had it, or has it. So it's quite surprising how young people do start to have these issues. They're not issues. Sorry, I shouldn't say issues. Obstacles in life.
I definitely think.
Yeah.
Just to expand on that, excuse me, pardon the pun. VC means voice chat. So just a call with someone, for example. So if you don't know what a VC is, now you do. I think obviously, as you say there, from a young age, they don't see it as an obstacle. They just see it as something happening, a phase. I think a lot of times things are written off as a phase.
Parents, they will absolutely say it's just a phase.
Yeah.
Be that as it may well be, but don't treat it like that. Seek help.
Yeah.
Join Expand, or go to your doctor. Do not all this hype about going to see your doctor. Granted, I would have to agree with you to certain degrees, because I had this conversation with my therapist. I had a doctor when I lived in Kidderminster and Worcester, in the Shropshire area, before I moved to Bromsgrove. He was a family practitioner, so he's known me since I was a baby. So effectively, he's a part of the family in my eyes, because I would go and see him, and he was the first person that diagnosed me with it. But instead of it just being, here's some tablets, here's a number, go and speak to them, it weren't. I had an hour and a half doctor's appointment. Yeah. I sat in his room and he would not let me leave until I at least explained everything. So he was like a therapist, doctor, and that doctor and patient relationship obviously is dwindled to the point where he's retired now. I've moved, so I've got a new practitioner, and to me, you just feel like a number. But don't feel like that. You're not just a number, because there is people. But for you to want to be helped, you've got to help yourself. So you've got to make the first steps. Don't expect people to do it for you, because it's not going to work.
Yeah. We try and sort of push that as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. Where there's this sort of big stigma around men crying. I see it consistently, constantly. Oh, it's weak. Shut up.
No, it's not.
You're just a tit, you. You're a
Yeah.
tit. If you think men crying is a weakness, do one. Absolutely do
Yeah.
one. Because if anything, you're strong enough to show your emotions. But
Yeah, absolutely.
you've got to talk about it. You've got to talk about it. And I don't care who you are. Just if you are the populous kid in school or work or wherever it may be, if you think you are the dog's bollocks, just talk about it. Because you may not only be helping yourself, many others too. Because that was the sort of what we want to put is the fact of if someone else talks about it, just adding fuel to the fire for someone else to go, do you know what? That's a fair point. It's a fair point that he's made there. I'm going to do it too. Because I want to be like that. Oh no, I'm going to talk about it. I got put in, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on. Now, I didn't really talk about what I went through of a younger age until maybe what? 14? I probably spoke about everything that happened. And to this day, anyone that comes to me and says, you know what? Sam, Wes, staff, wherever it may be, I'm being bullied in school. And obviously, a lot of the time we do get that. Very common, and I'm very shocked that it's still common.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything about the education system. I think it's absolutely brilliant, but I'm very surprised that it still goes on. In a sense of, just look, you've all got social media. TikTok is a prime example of how many people are affected in the lockdown, but still, you have the common decency to turn around and call someone else names or physically or mentally bully someone. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And they
really absolutely.
A life lesson of going, look at what this person that you're doing is going through here. And you don't realise that until you're a third party and you go, you're in the wrong here. And I look back and I think, why didn't I just go to a teacher? Why didn't I just tell my parents this? Why didn't I just do that?
It was a different type of bullying when I was a kid. You know, I was bullied through middle school, well, first school and middle school, and a little bit through high school. Not so much through high school because, I was pretty well known in high school. You know, I was Wes, the one to turn to if you needed a laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been a ladies' man, and I don't mean that in the respect of, but I mean like, you know, just friendships. And I've still kept in friends with some of the girls that I went to school with. I got some brilliant mates. You know, I married my best mate's sister. So obviously mine and my brother-in-law's relationship isn't what it used to be at school, but we are still quite close. But the bullying back then was completely different because you didn't have social media. You had Bebo when I first, I think, high school when I just left, or was it just before? I can't remember. Bebo and MySpace when I first left school, I think it was. But when I was at middle school, there weren't mobile phones. So the bullying was completely different because it was only ever done at school. It was never done outside of school. And when the bullying stops at school, it doesn't really become a long-lasting effect on you. It does. It's character building because obviously it builds you into who you want to be.
Definitely.
But it's got worse because of social media, because the bullying doesn't stop at school. It carries on your phone, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
So many places. But the
Yeah.
thing is, those applications do have places that you can sort of report that.
Yes, absolutely,
or block whoever it may be, or tell someone about it. And that's all we can advise. We're not saying expand network and solve all your problems, but we can definitely just be there to if you do want
support you.
Support you,
If you just an unbiased and unjudgmental chat where it doesn't matter what you've done, even if you've done something wrong that you think, oh, you know, need to talk to someone about it. Obviously, I don't mean like illegal wrong, but I'm on about you might have bullied someone. We're just here to support, and that is the aim. And I know a lot of people are feeling a little bit down with what's going on in the world right now, and as humans, that's the least we could be doing is just helping one another.
Most definitely.
You might not want to show it because you're the biggest man in school or the hardest man at work, or whatever you want to call yourselves, Mr. Macho Men or Macho Girls, doesn't matter. trust me. You could be the biggest man in the room, but the softest teddy bear. And that's all. I have actually been called that, the biggest man in the room, but the softest teddy bear.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm approachable. Well, I'd like to think I was approachable. You know, so it's, it is amazing what Expand is doing, and the community. That's every single one of you. That's not just us as staff. As staff, people always get this stigma of staff. They're overpowered or whatever. We're not. The only reason you have to have staff, because otherwise, if it was just one person doing it, he would not be able to control whatever goes on in the community. And not control, but I'm on about structure it and run it properly. And I know there's been a few issues over the past couple of weeks with regards to things happening, and staff have been mentioned and stuff like that. But as staff, we're just here to help. We're not here to you know, it's all right, people prejudging staff members, but you might call a staff member something and think, actually, no, he's a really nice guy. But yeah, just remember that. We're not here. We're not animals. We're not horrible. We're not nasty.
Yeah.
We are.
People don't seem to message me at all until they have like a one-to-one chat with me. Because I think a lot of people, there is the stigma of someone running a community on the internet as unapproachable and too busy to have time to talk. I will always make time for you, and that goes for all of the staff members too. Granted, it's not my full-time job. And I can't always be, rapid response, quick on messages, but I will ensure that I do get back to you as quickly as possible. Kind of that even goes through, through the night. We're always about, usually until a lot later than we should be, and we should be going to bed.
Yes.
We're always discussing new ideas or helping someone.
Yeah.
Who's going through stuff, and never feel like you're different to anyone else. Don't feel like you're on your own in the slightest, because I felt like that. I'll openly admit that I felt like that when I was going through what I was going through in school. My early ages, that's probably for a different video, but being there and not knowing which way to sort of turn, and the pressure of GCSEs and exams. Obviously, I'm only 20, so it was only 4 and a bit years ago, I was doing my GCSEs, so I've been there. It was fairly recent. I remember what it was like to be under that form of pressure. So if you are watching that and you're going through GCSEs this year, best of luck. They are not everything, but make sure you do try in them. I always say this, but they do not predict your life. They really don't.
And I'll take my glasses off for this, right? I did crap at GCSEs, and I worked hard. I struggled through school because I'm dyslexic. I had severe learning difficulties when I was growing up through school, and my predicted grades for my GCSEs were bad. And when I mean bad, I mean horrendously bad. Most of them were ungradable. And I got a C in English, and my teacher at the time burst into tears, but everything else I failed. Well, not failed, but distinctions and stuff like that. Yeah. Do not allow that to ruin anything. I'm 35 now, and I've got a degree in waste management, a degree in transfer of hazardous waste. I work for a great company. I'm on good money. I've got a lot of qualifications under my belt, and I've only recently achieved these goals, but I didn't need my GCSEs to do it. The one that I'm doing at the minute, I do need GCSE English and Maths, so I will be doing my English and Maths. And do you know what? I'm not fazed by it. Don't allow the GCSEs to make you think that it's to predict the rest of your future, because it's not. But do well. Don't slack. Do as the best as your ability, but don't allow the pressure of anyone telling you that sets a stepping stone for the rest of your life, because it's not. There's second chances for everyone, and I'm a prime example. If I can do my GCSEs at 35, then that just shows you.
Yeah,
but please just try your best. If you're going through your GCSEs or A levels or whatever they are, try your best. Don't allow that in the back of your brain to be telling you that I've got to do well. I've got to. All you can do is do your best. But if you want to learn and earn lots of money, then yeah, do really well.
No.
No, I'm joking.
No,
I'm joking.
I think one of the best things to work on. I'm sort of going down the route of a younger sort of target audience that may be watching this here, but if you're about to apply for a job too, I think one of the best things to learn is confidence. And it's not, you don't have to go in there all flambunctious and big, jumpy and energetic. Just learn to sit there and talk about yourself, hype yourself up a little bit, and have a chat with yourself about what you've achieved, whatever it may be. Obviously, at my GCSEs, I'm fairly similar to Wes. I got 1, maybe 2, at best, and I didn't do very well in IT, but I'm in an IT job, so everyone's got their own opportunities and chances. So just keep doing what you're doing, wherever it is. You're right there, Wes.
I'm just turning my phone down because it was on loud. Sorry.
That's alright. Just keep doing what you're doing. Really, to be honest. I mean, obviously, I know a lot of people are going to be watching this are going to be from Expand. I hope that people are watching this that aren't in Expand are still watching it, and I've stuck around to this point now. If a parent's watching it and you've not been bored yet, see, I do actually talk to real people. I'm not just talking to fake people on the internet. They still don't have a clue. They're getting old now. I have to organise that home soon. But if you are watching this and you're not in Expand yet, just join the Discord. Even if you're not going through anything, just get involved.
And if you, yeah,
give us the chance, because a lot of people now just seem to think, this is a scam. And there's numerous times now where we've tried to approach, bigger people to try and get this sort of movement out there, and they've gone, well, it's a scam. Well, you've not given us the opportunity to talk about it. So if you're watching this and you've seen it all the way through, I appreciate the opportunity for us to sort of discuss that, what we're doing for people, and what you watching this may have been through. We've all been there, and you're not alone at all. Just come and introduce yourself, say hello, and I'm sure you'll get something out of it like we have to. And I appreciate everyone that is currently involved in Expand. They've helped me stupid amounts. Everyone's just a virtual shoulder to cry on through these tough times that we're currently in. And I try and push that as much as we possibly can. The fact that we are, we can't do anything physically, give you a hug or whatever it may be, but we'll do everything to set your goals and ensure that you're doing okay. You've got some distractions and you've got people that do care for you, and there is people that care. Me being one of them. No matter who you are, I still care. No matter how long you've been in the community for. Quite simply.
You're all a valued member of the community. End of story. There's no... Yeah. And we've got staff from 16 all the way to late 40s.
Yeah.
I'd love that one, wouldn't he? Late 40s. Late 40s.
Mr. Outlaw out here,
So... And I might not be the best at responding to DMs straight away because I'm an old man, so Mr. Baby keeps telling me. I struggle replying because I'll click on the message thinking I'll respond to it, something will happen, and I'll forget to respond. Yeah, and I'm just like,
No, But I appreciate having a chat, Wes. I think people got a little bit of an idea of who we are. To be honest, I think we should probably start doing more of this. So this is episode 1 of the Mindset Mondays podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep smiling, which is a very sort of big quote that I use, is just keep smiling. Force it out as hard as you possibly can. And stay as positive as possible, really. I know I'm a 20-year-old kid, but just give me the opportunity to let me show you what this community can do. I'm not just here to tell you that sell you some scheme. I'm here to tell you that this is a community of amazing people.
100%. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I appreciate everyone watching. This has been episode 1. This has been GoldHammer, aka Wezzer. I really appreciate you all watching. If you need anything, drop me a message. Any questions, drop me an email. I'll leave my email down below in the description. It's in the Discord, that's also in the description. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm sure we'll all see you in episode 2. Thanks you know what, I can't say this anymore. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'm sure I'll see you in episode 2. Speak soon.